What is up, my fellow brother bears? I'm your host, Buddha Bear.
And I'm your co-host, BlackBear.
And welcome to
The Anime Den. And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing episode 3 of Re:Zero Season 2.
So without further ado, let's get right
into the video.
Alrighty, so we've just finished Re:Zero episode 3. And, oh my god, do we have things to start telling you. BlackBear, do you want to start it off?
You can start it off.
You want me to start it off? Alrighty, guys. So, first off, spoilers ahead, so make sure you click off the video if you haven't already seen episode 3. So, let me get on to the review. So, as the video starts, we go back to Subaru talking to the Witch of Greed. I forgot her name already. Echidna.
It's Echidna.
Echidna?
Yeah.
I thought it, well,
No.
Echidna, whichever or. He's back at her to have a witch tea party. So there they are having their chat, and we get to see her interest in Subaru, and she begins to start talking on what Subaru is looking for from her, if he is looking something from her, which she starts to explain all the other witches of the 7 deadly sins, from wrath to sloth to envy to pride to almost all of them, to even herself. And she even speaks about how envy, the worst of all the sins, and what they have each done to be called that sin. You know, just like how, if you guys ever seen the 7 deadly sins, how they each have a sin dedicated. The sin is dedicated to their actions. The same thing is going for the witches. Each of the witches have been named after a certain sin due to a certain action they have done. For example, Sloth. I don't remember the sin of Sloth's name, the witch's name, but she drove back a dragon into a waterfall because she wanted rest. Thus was known as the sin of Sloth. Another one was the sin of Lust. She gave out emotions to things that were non-human to bring love to the world. Thus got the name Lust. The Witch of Greed, Echidna. Pretty sure that's how they say it in dub, but
No, it's actually Echidna.
that's how. I don't think that's how they said it in the Japanese one. No, I'm pretty sure it was Echidna. We'll have this tried a little later. So the sin of greed, she collected information of all the information in the world, all the knowledge in the world, in probably the most evilest of ways, if not for her own greed. It was the greed of knowledge. So, you know, she starts telling Subaru, what do you want to know from who are you most interested of? And of course, the one she says the most of, the sin of envy, the witch that was jealous of all the other witches and killed them for herself, for their power, I guess, in a way. And thus that's where she starts to talk more about the witch factor, and how Subaru has the witch factor of sloth now. After have killing Betelgeuse, he himself got the sin of sloth. Now, this is extremely important into what will be happening later on to the story. Does it trail off now to saying that Subaru will be going against all the archbishops and gaining the sin's witch factor? And for what reason? And will there be an issue where Subaru will meet all the witches again and try to revive them or try to free them? Because remember, it is the sin of envy that is holding him. However, the sin of envy doesn't have the same name that we think. It is not Satella. A different name was used. So now we have to start thinking again. For all the people who we've given sins, from the white whale to Puck to Satella herself, like, at this point we know they're not the witches of the sins. What are they at this point? Are they just beings created from the witches, or are they host for the witches? So they're definitely not archbishops that we know of yet. You know, we've already seen the archbishop of sloth, greed, and now gluttony. We thought that the archbishop of gluttony was the white whale. Now it is not. It is what was his name? Lyle? Lyle?
It was Lie something.
Lies. So it's throwing us into a giant curveball. And again, this is why we love ReZero. It's these curveballs, ladies and gents. Oh my god. So now we get back to Subaru having woken up from his tea time with the Witch of Greed, and is now met with Garfield, the person that he was warned of, and is the brother, I'm assuming, of Frederica. Frederica?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he goes and takes them to see Roswell and Ram. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
It's Roswell.
Roswell?
Roswell.
Roswell. I'm hoping that's right. Um, and that's where he goes and meets Ram and everything. Do you want to go on and explain everything else?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so after I already forgot his name.
Garfield?
Yeah, after Garfield takes Subaru and Amelia to go see Roswell and Rom, stuff happens.
Oh my god, do I need to explain that part too?
Yeah.
Alright, leave it to Buddha Bear to save everything. Alright, so after Garfield takes Subaru and Emilia back to the sanctuary, which by the way isn't exactly what a sanctuary would look like to us, we are informed that Roswald, who was injured at the time, took the trial and was how could I say it? Declined?
No, he went into the trial, but he got rejected.
Exactly.
That's how he got
That's
hurt.
how he was injured. He was rejected from the trial, and that's how we see him injured. We are also informed that Garfield has taken all the villagers into house arrest, which Roswald, Rom, and all the villagers now are in house arrest by the demi-humans because they want to be freed from the sanctuary. So how are they supposed to be get freed? Well, Amelia is supposed to go on to take the trial, and before they take the trial, Subaru and Amelia meet the villagers to confirm that they will be going to take the trial. Well, Amelia will be going to take the trial, and we see a little bit more of Amelia's character development. She has a little bit more courage. She's actually made friends with the villagers, and now we're getting a little bit more bravery from her. So then the moment comes where Amelia goes to take the trial, and she goes in. The light, there's a big blue light that's shining the entire time. Amelia walks in, the light disappears. Rem and Garfield are panicking. Why? They said specifically the light is supposed to stay shining the entire time of the trial. So what does Subaru do?
Oh, and only people with mixed blood are allowed in the trial.
Only people with mixed blood are allowed with trial.
And Buddha Bear didn't say this, but Echidna gave Subaru kind of like permission to go into the trial.
Yeah, I was about to go in and say that because Subaru goes and runs in for Amelia, and as you would have thought, if Subaru wasn't allowed to go in, how was he allowed? As BlackBear said, Echidna gave him the permission to take the trial. So Subaru runs in, the blue light is shone. Ram and Garfield are shocked because the blue light is appearing to Subaru, who is not half-blood, but since has been given permission, is allowed to take the trial. So Subaru runs in, he sees Amelia on the floor, and when he goes to see if she's okay, passes out. And now this is where the craziest thing happened. Right before Subaru passes out, you hear another voice that is basically another version of Subaru, I'm assuming, has spoken, is like, now you must face your past. Subaru wakes up, and ladies and gentlemen, he is back on Earth. And this is the craziest part. Subaru wakes up to someone waking him up, and it is none other than his own father.
We have never seen before.
We have never met. Understand this. Since episode 1, we have never heard Subaru spoken about his family, never mentioned them, never even hinted at. What did we know about Subaru? One, he was a NEET. He stayed indoors. He was a shut-in from society. Basic things from a NEET. Now we come back to before Subaru was I'm assuming was before Subaru was a NEET. To see his father again. But remember, the trial said you must face your past. So now, what I'm assuming, at least, I don't know what BlackBear was assuming, but what I'm assuming, and what my theory is, I don't want to say assumption, but what my theory is, Subaru will be having to face a great emotional cliff he had felt back from his life, whether it is to face the hardship and to pass the hardship that he went through before and fell from, because the way I'm seeing the trial is he has to face his past. He failed previously and became a knee. That was episode 1. Now he must face it again and actually overcome it, which is to change his future, to change his past in a way to not become a knee. So he's being sent to the past to fight against it, to overcome his past, like the trial wants. So that's where we're at right now. And did I miss anything? No? Alrighty. So we just accidentally cut the video, so we're going to be picking up from where we were just spoken. BlackBear wanted to go back to the video to see something quick. It was at the time where Subaru woke up back in his room. BlackBear noticed something, that Subaru had action figures, or not action figures, but figurines of a white hair witch / warrior, and they were all white haired. So I don't know what BlackBear was thinking, but what I was thinking was 2 things. 1, this entire scenario is in Subaru's head. He is in either a game, this is all make-believe, and he's in his room, or Subaru is dreaming, and this is his way of going against his past life. Or 2, Subaru was so obsessed with these figurines, so obsessed with materialistic things, that he died from it. He literally died from it and was sent to a world where the very thing he loves is hated upon, and now has to, I want to say, save it. And it's kind of mind-boggling that you caught that, which I noticed it, but I didn't say anything. They were all white-haired, like we said before. Almost everything that deals with a witch is always white. The Witch of Greed has white hair. Amelia, which is a half-elf, has white hair. The white whale, Gluttony, was a white whale. Almost anything dealing with the witches are white. And we can only assume now, or theorize now, that either it is because Subaru thought of it because of his obsession with white hairs, or wherever he is at, either Subaru created it or the world that he is in manifested it for him. Which, meaning that Subaru, whose obsession with the white-haired, forgive me, let me say that again, where either Subaru himself created the world and it now has to save the witches, or the witches from this world found Subaru as a candidate to save the witches and took him from his world and threw him into theirs as a warrior for the witches for him to save. So
to stop the Witch of Envy and save the other witches.
We can go. That's a definite possibility. I still think that, but I'm still wondering who is the one holding his heart. I still think that was Envy. So
yeah, I know.
Then think about it. Why would the Witch of Envy want Subaru to save the witches while still having his heart?
What?
If remember, Ekidana said that the Witch of Envy killed all the other witches, correct?
Yeah.
So why would the Witch of Envy bring Subaru into this world?
But how do you know she brought him in?
Because she's the only one that we've seen. If all the other witches are dead, and Echidna is trapped in a prison, who else would there be? I just said she was trapped in a prison. Exactly the point.
She invited Subaru.
When Subaru went into her realm.
Yeah.
But she is unable to use her power outside of it. Because if that was the point, we would have seen her in season 1. We would have seen her toying with things in season 1. We would have seen her do something in season 1, but we haven't. We haven't. Did you ever see any in season 1? Did you ever see any of her Echidna's abilities being used? Exactly the point, because she couldn't, because she's been trapped. And don't say, or did we? Because guess what? I remember almost everything. And no.
Or did I?
No, you didn't. That's why. You don't pay attention. You didn't even remember half the things. Exactly. So, as I was saying, could Echidna have could have the Witch of Embry brought Subaru to save the witches? Possible. It is very possible. Exactly what BlackBear said. It is possible, but it's also not possible. So we want to throw out these theories for everyone to kind of take in and kind of think for themselves, you know. Now, since we see where the story is kind of heading in now, we are getting more of Subaru's path, which is what we've been kind of wanting. And this will probably answer our questions in why Subaru was chosen to get sent to the world. And if not chosen, why he is in the world in the first place. So that's where we are at the moment. And I'm pretty sure that's where almost everyone's thinking thoughts are as at this point. So you ready to close it out now?
Yeah.
Alrighty, my fellow brother bears. I'm your host, the one and only Buddha Bear.
And I'm your co-host, BlackBear.
And thank you guys so much for tuning in with us here in the Anime Den. And actually, if you guys made it from this far and stayed a little bit longer, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to comment down below on your theory. And we will catch you guys next video.